guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a very interesting video today. I'm going to do half of my face with the techniques that I did when I first started doing makeup, and I'm going to do the other half with techniques that I do now. And we're just going to basically compare and see what differences there are now compared to back then. And I only started doing my makeup about 2 or 3 years ago, so even though it's been a short time, I feel like the changes are fairly different. But anyways, let's just go ahead and get started. So on my old half of my face, I never primed because I honestly just don't think I knew that primers were even like a thing. And now I like to prime. So on this half of my face, I'm gonna go in with a hydrating primer. I'm using the Flower Beauty one. And I like to go in with a lot of primer because that's just how I like to do. I'm also going to be using products that I used back then on this half of my face because I do have a majority of. So for foundation, I used to use the Maybelline Fit Me, and I would mix the dewy one and the matte one, and I hated both, so I don't know why I used them. But really soon after that, I ended up buying the Makeup Forever Professional Ultra HD foundation, and if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure I applied it with a sponge. So I'm just going to take my sponge that I have now. I used to use the Real Technique sponge, which I still use now. I just happen to not have one, so we're just going to use this one. This foundation was my very first high-end purchase at Sephora. And then for my current half of my face, which I do now, I use the Covergirl, and this one is their Trueblend Matte May. This is my favorite foundation ever. And I apply it with a brush, just because I liked how a brush applied my makeup so much faster. So once I got used to it, I only ever use this. Get my reference picture so I can see how I do my makeup then. Okay, so after I would have this, which honestly I like both sides of my face right now. Now I definitely prefer to use primers. I feel like my makeup goes on so much nicer when I use a primer versus not, but this foundation is so dewy and like just nice that it looks good without a primer. For brows, I pretty much use the same brow pencil. So I did fill my brows in a little differently though then, because my brows were basically like a really nice shape then. Before I went and got my eyebrows done and the lady plucked them all away. I'll never forget that. I had my brows were looking nice. I enjoyed them. And then she did them because I was like, oh, let me try, see if I like it. I didn't like it. Okay, so I barely did anything with my brows though. Like I didn't really understand how to do much with the pencil, so literally it'd be like that, and I was like, okay, it's good. They're done. Now I definitely do a little bit more. I just try to perfect the shape a little bit more. I remember being horrified when she did my brows too. She was done. I was like, I just want them cleaned up and a little bit of an arch. And when she was done, there were 2 little lines. And I remember like, she's like, what do you think? And she handed me the mirror and I was like, I was so upset. And I filled my brows in every day for like 3 months, waiting for those bad boys to grow back in. Well, I didn't use concealer back then, just because I didn't really get it or have any. So I pretty much would just go in with my sponge and just go up all the way up to my eyelid, like lower eyelid. Now I obviously use concealer, so I'm just gonna put some under my eye. It's kind of hard to conceal just half of my nose, so we're just gonna go down the center. And I would take it on my forehead and on my eyelid to basically be my eyelid primer. That's what I do now. And I blend it out with my sponge. Whatever's left over, I'll take on my chin just a little bit. I feel like so far, both halves of my face don't look very different. Other than the color is just like a tad different. It's like a tad darker on the side of my face. I feel like looks really good. So I didn't really powder much or at all. But I do powder now, and I like the Coverfx translucent, or what is this? Perfect setting powder. And I like to take it with a sponge or with a brush, either or. And just go over my face. So I didn't really contour back then either. Literally this half is so simple, but my face naturally, I think honestly just from like having acne scars, they always landed like on my cheekbones, so it was just like natural contouring, done. But on this side, I definitely like to bronze or contour now. I mentioned it was really hard to find products to bronze or contour with then, so I think that's why I didn't really do it. I'm gonna go in with the Golden Baked Bronzer by Milani to bronze this side of my face. Blush, I really didn't do it then, and I don't really do it now, so done. I really like the Milani Bella Bronze eyeshadow, which is funny because like to this day this is like my favorite eyeshadow. And I would just take it all over my lid. And I'm trying to think of the palettes that I had back then, and the only two I can remember was one from L'Oreal. It was all pink. It was not very good. And then the next palette after that was my Morphe palette, and I still do have that palette. It was a 350. I think I honestly probably just went with a crease shade because that's what Miss Jacqueline told me to do. So I honestly think I just went with like a shade like this, like a brown shade, and I would just take that through my crease. And I was like, okay, I'm done. Need nothing else be done to that eye. And now I definitely do still like a natural glam eye, but I'm also not afraid to play with color as much and like have a little bit of fun. So I'm gonna take my Born to Run palette and I'm gonna create an eye look on this eye. I'm just gonna go into Rift. I'm gonna pretty much go really quickly and just tell you what I'm using as I put them on my eye. So I'm gonna go with Rift in the crease, punk there, focus on the outer corner a bit before I would drag it in. I take like a smaller brush, make it even more intense. Then I would go in with something like, what is it? Accelerate. And I would just put that all over my lid. I would use something like Ignite just on the inner half. Go back in with a little bit more of that punked shade, that deep brown that we're using in the lower corner, just to build it up a little bit. Take that same color, just go on my lower lash line, really tight with a definer brush. And then just taking like a pencil brush, I'd go into Rift again. I'd probably take a little bit of Baja and then smoke everything out. Having a little fun, I would take like a color like Hellride, and I would also put that on the lower lash line just to do something different. So as you can see, the eyes look fairly different. This one's very, very minimal, and this one's like, I want to have a little more fun. Another thing too that I do differently is I didn't really focus on my eye shape here. I just kind of went in the crease. Whereas like now I like to really just wing things out a little bit more, just because I feel like it fits my eye shape better when things are a little more winged out. Back then, I also would use the Wet n Wild mascara. It was like in a yellow package. I don't really have that one anymore, but I think the Milani Highly Rated was kind of similar, so I'm gonna go in with that one on the old side. Okay, never mind, I lied. They're not similar. But I remember that mascara being very volumizing, and this one does have volume in it. But I think the other one was like a little more chunky and clumpy. And on the current side, I'm gonna go in with the Essence Lash Princess because I love a very voluminous lash. So I guess some things just never change. Something else I do differently now with my brows is I go in with brow gel. So we're just gonna take a little bit of the Femme Coutour brow gel, set our brows in place. For highlight, I used to use the Hard Candy Hula Baked Bronzer because I had a very hard time finding things that would work as highlights, and I don't have the brush that I used to highlight with then, but it was very similar to this one. I forget what brush it was. I think it was the Morphe M50. Basically it was like a brush that looked like a giant blending brush. So I'm just gonna go in with this one. And I would just highlight my cheekbones. And I thought this highlight was very, very intense, which I don't really think is that intense looking at it now. And I would highlight there and my nose the whole way down pretty much. Do that C shape above my brow. And then I would do my inner corner, as well as my brow bone. And I was a little more generous with my brow bone highlight back then. Now I would still highlight my inner corner, so I'm just taking the Pixi highlight palette. And I would like use next to nothing and highlight my brow bone because I don't like a very intense brow bone highlight. And then I would take a really big brush like this and just kind of do like an all over highlight. So I just feel like this one looks so pretty. It just looks a little more diffused. Just a tot on the chin. Precise brush, I would take it down my nose. Wow, these two highlights are very different looking. I don't know if you can tell in camera, but they look very different. Which is crazy. Like I can see glitter in this one that I never noticed before. Still very pretty, and you can't really tell from far away. Pretty much all that's left now is lips. So for lips, I actually used to go in with two lipsticks. They were from Gosh. I must have given them away, and I don't remember when. But anyways, one was brown, one was pink. So I would like go over my top lip with the pink one, and then over my bottom with the brown one, and then like reverse, and then I'd slap a gloss on top. I do still have the gloss. I'm going to find a color that's very similar. So I'm just gonna take the e.l.f. lipstick in blushing brown because this was pretty much what replaced that, because I thought this did both of those lipsticks job in one. And with this gloss, it's from NYC. All of the packaging has rubbed off, which I'm pretty sure it did it pretty early on back then too. This gloss is definitely more metallic. I feel like back then liquid lipsticks weren't really a thing, but now they are, so I do use them. And I'm just going to take the e.l.f. Sheer Matte Liquid Lipsticks because I like a liquid lipstick that is A, either comfortable, or B, more subtle, more nudie color. So I'm just going to go with this one. This one on. Super weird for some reason. I'm gonna go over it with something else. I'm gonna go in with the Physicians Formula Nut Riches liquid lip. This is more of a satin liquid lipstick. It has a similar color, just a little deeper. And a lot more opaque, which I don't mind. And that completes both halves of my face. The old side and the new side. Honestly, looking at both sides, I still really like this side. I think I would probably pick a different gloss just because this one's very metallic looking. I do like the eyes. I do like the winged out side more. I feel like it just looks a little more flattering. Definitely like this brow more. I like the skin on both sides. I do wish I had a primer on, but it's not terrible without it. And I pretty much like both highlights. My nose looks really crazy highlighted right now because I went really ham on the one side, and that's mostly because of that brush. Using like that more blending style flat top brush, I never really enjoyed my highlight how it looked as much as like say on this side, and that I changed. I still do very similar eye looks to this one now. But anyways guys, that pretty much ends this video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, leave comments below for what you guys want to see in the future, and make sure to subscribe for new videos every Monday and Thursday. Like up this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!